What a brave game by 10-man Chelsea. Chelsea played a man down for almost 65 minutes. The 4-2-3-1 formation by Chelsea meant that Enzo actually played just behind Pedro, who was the striker up front. Enzo made sure that Zubimendi could not organize the game for Arsenal, and we saw Zubimendi struggle and was later pulled out in the second half with a yellow card to his name. Caicedo also played well on Eze, and we saw how Eze was limited, especially in the first half. Chelsea had so much energy. They were winning the second balls. They were very competitive. They were able to mark Arsenal man to man. Yes, Chelsea has some great players. Gusto to the right, Cucurella to the left, and they made sure that they pushed Arsenal to play wide. Where Saka was ineffective against Cucurella, we saw those two early tackles on Saka. Of course, Cucurella played for 90 minutes with a yellow card. Okay? So he did a good job on Saka. Although I think Saka could have actually done more. Saka struggled. But for the assist that he had for the goal that Moreno scored to bring Arsenal back on par. Minutes after the halftime, we saw Chelsea score from corner kick. They scored their 7th goal from free kicks and corner kick. And of course, it was scored by the young defender, Chalobah. So Chelsea and Arsenal are two good teams when it comes to set pieces. Chelsea has scored 7 goals from set pieces. Meanwhile, Arsenal has scored 8 goals from set pieces. For the first time, we saw the partnership of Hincapi and Mosquera. They did well. Of course, that goal conceded from corner kick, you cannot put it on those central defenders. But where they struggled, in my opinion, was in the second half, when they had the duty to bring out the ball from defensive positions into midfield and supply the attack. I think Arsenal struggled there as a team because now that Zubimendi was out, Declan Rice was playing as a whole in midfield. And I've said this over and over. I think Declan Rice is not suited to play holding midfielder at Arsenal. His best position is box to box, a little bit up high, where he can use his energy and elusiveness. Today we did not see that because Chelsea was actually very good in the midfield. Chelsea challenged Arsenal man to man, one of the few teams that can play man to man and defend really well. And Arsenal found it difficult to actually build up. But there was that moment of brilliance when Arteta pulled out Martinelli, who was not good enough against Gusto, and Zubimendi, who was sitting on a yellow card and has struggled all through. Bringing in Madueke and Odegaard brought some more creativity to that Arsenal team. And we saw how Odegaard was able to combine with Saka. We saw the cross, one of the few quality crosses of Saka in this game. And Moreno was able to score for 1-1. Apart from that, Chelsea made sure that they were disciplined. They made sure that they were competitive. And they made sure that they continue to make Arsenal struggle. I've talked about the inability of Arsenal to be creative, from deep in this game, with Rice playing as the holding midfielder. And when Arsenal tried to go wide, Saka was not in one of his good days. Of course, this season, Saka has scored 3 goals, but I think if Arsenal needs to go ahead and win EPL, Saka needs to do more. He needs to play better. I do understand you are playing against one of the best left backs in the league, but you need to do more. Another player that I think needed to do more, but I could not really actually blame him because I think the fans were elated when he scored a hat-trick, were elated when he gave an assist against Bayern Munich. I just think Eze was too quiet today. But again, as I said, it was against a team that can defend one-on-one. That was a great point for Chelsea, playing 10 men for almost 65 minutes.